Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and I was always told I had a voice for radio, so today I'm bringing you word of another new card, the snappily named Aether Paradise Conservation Area. Now, to be fair, there is an Aether Paradise in the game Sun and Moon, and they have a conservation area. But Aether Paradise Conservation Area, that is a mouthful, ladies and gentlemen, for a stadium. Although, I do like that they've made it into a stadium. Anyway, I suppose the more important question is, what does it actually do? And what it does is very simple. It means that all of your grass and lightning Pokemon, and remember that because it's a stadium, it affects both sides equally, take 30 less damage from opponents' Pokemon's attacks. Now, assuming that this is a reliable translation, that means that your Pokemon on the bench will be given the same level of protection as your active Pokemon will as well. So something like an Umbreon hitting for 30 on the bench won't be hitting your bench Pokemon for 30. That's pretty nice. And on the face of it, this looks like a really good stadium. Think about Hard Charm. That saw quite a lot of play for quite a while when it was legal for tournament play, and that reduced damage done by 20 to 1 Pokemon. If you're playing only electric and water Pokemon, this is reducing 30 to all of them. Think about something like fighting Fury Belt. That gives basics an extra 40 HP. Well, as long as your opponent doesn't one-hit KO you and you've got this stadium out, then they're hitting you twice, you're effectively getting an extra 60 HP here. So, there's a lot to love. But as with a lot of stadiums, the question I've got to ask here is, are you actually going to play it, or are there other stadiums you'd like to play instead? So let's start off with grass. We have Forest of Giant Plants, the amazing stadium that allows you to evolve whenever you feel like it. And this is clearly going to see a lot of play because it makes all evolution grass decks much faster. Think Vileplume that item locks both players. You can get it out straight away using Forest of Giant Plants. Think about his new partner Lurantis, who again, you get it out straight away. Stage 1, just evolve up with Forest of Giant Plants. Now, there's nothing to stop you playing Forest of Giant Plants for the early game and Aether Paradise Conservation Area for the late game, but then you're putting 5 or 6 stadiums into your deck, and that is a lot of space just for your stadiums. Now, the other thing is, it is only basic. So, a lot of the grass Pokemon we have at the moment, like Lurantis I just told you about, like Vespiquen, like Decidueye, they're not basic Pokemon. So they're not even going to use this stadium anyway. But there is one that will work. And I did mention this in yesterday's video. Tapu Bulu. He is going to love this stadium. Now, it depends what kind of deck you're playing it in. If you're playing Tapu Bulu with Vileplume, you're still going to want to play Forest of Giant Plants. But if your deck is focused around Tapu Bulu, you are going to love this stadium. He's already got 180 HP. He's got no weakness. He can use Fighting Fury Bout. Stop me if you heard this before. Now, all of a sudden, you're using this stadium as well. He's got an effective 250 HP, no weakness. That's bulky. And a lot of people have been saying, oh, Tapu Bulu doesn't look that good. I'm sorry, but unless his attacks are complete unplayable garbage, and with Max Elixir they're not, any Pokemon that's got an effective HP of 250 with no weakness is at least worth a second look. Not saying best Pokemon ever, but I'm saying far from complete garbage. So Tapu Bulu I can see working with this stadium, but the combination of Forest of Giant Plants and all the best attackers like Lurantis being evolutions means that in the near future, I don't see this making its way into grass decks. So what about Lightning? Well, we've got Rough Seas. And Rough Seas heals 30 damage from all of your Lightning Pokemon, or indeed your Water Pokemon. And I like this in that you have control. So, Rough Seas, you put down and then heal. Whereas Aether Paradise Conservation Area, it's in your opponent's hands. They are doing the attacking on their turn. So they have always got the opportunity to replace a stadium before they attack. Which makes Rough Seas a little bit better because it's in your control. Of course, Aether Paradise Conservation Area might save you being KO'd. If your opponent puts you up to exactly 180 and you've got 180 HP, you're KO'd. you can't rough seas the next turn. But if they would put you up to 180 and you've got Aether Paradise Conservation Area in play, then you'll only be put up to 150. So there's pros and cons. Rough seas, you have the control, but it might be too late to heal. The question is, are there any lightning Pokemon for which we would want to use this? Now remember, it's basics only. Well, we've already had it confirmed that Guardians Rising, the next set in which this card will be released, is going to have a Tapu Koko GX. Now, given that Tapu Bulu is grass, I think it's fair to assume we aren't getting a fairy Tapu Koko, we're getting a lightning Tapu Koko. He's going to be basic lightning Pokemon. Maybe this will be good for him. We don't know. We haven't seen the card. But I think it's fair to assume he's going to be able to make some use of it. The other one that immediately springs to mind is Raikou. Now, let's not forget that Raikou's already got the ability, which reduces damage done to him by 20 if he's got lightning energy attached. And he's a basic, so he can use Fighting Fury Bout, and then there's this, and this adds up quickly. 120 HP plus Fighting Fury Bout effectively is 160. Then you add the ability, and you're up to 180. Then you add the Stadium, you're up to 210 HP. That's a lot. And for someone like Raikou, I would probably prefer Aether Paradise Conservation Area than I would prefer Rough Seas, because you want to avoid getting knocked out because his energy cost is awkward. You don't want to have to build up new ones. Of course, Rough Seas, you can heal damage done before. You might retreat to the bench and heal 2 or 3 turns worth with Rough Seas. So there's reasons for and against. I'm not saying this beats Rough Seas. I'm saying you've got to make a decision. Would you rather heal damage constantly, no matter when it was put on, in which case you want Rough Seas, or do you want to keep your Pokemon from being knocked out now, in which case Aether Paradise Conservation Area? Either way, Tapu Bulu and Raikou show that this stadium could be very, very good. I really think that when Rough Seas and Forest of Giant Plants rotate out, these will be a lot better, because at the moment, any good grass attacker, our first thought is going to be Forest of Giant Plants Vileplume. It just seems to make too much sense. Anyway, need to give this one a score. Let's go 3 Wassies. And the reason is, I don't know if there are any good basic grass attackers other than Tapu Bulu that really want to use this. I don't know if electric attackers want to use this over Rough Seas, and that really means I'm worried how much play it's going to see right now. But remember the rule. Nobody really understands the scoring system, neither do I. But if I give it 3 Wassies or above, you want a playset in your binder. Get yourself a playset of this, it could be good. Now, you know the deal, ladies and gentlemen. There is a comment section, go nuts, be nice. There are buttons to both like this video and subscribe to this channel. I would be very happy if you use them both. You can follow me on Twitter, @TheWassie, and the most important thing as always is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.